The room was packed, with everyone's attention focused on one person. Whispers filled the air, passing from person to person. The buzz of gossip and rumors made it clear that something big was happening today. People shifted in their seats, waiting to see what would happen next. Then, the door opened. He walked in, tall, dressed in a sleek charcoal gray suit. He looked like someone who owned the world. His name was Ethan Grayson. Ethan looked more like a celebrity than a defendant. His perfectly combed hair shined in the light, and he smiled, almost like he was there to enjoy the show, not face serious charges. He had been all over the news, and today he was finally in court. Accused of stealing millions of dollars from regular families who had trusted him, he seemed unfazed. But the moment the judge entered, everything changed. Judge Monica Lee walked into the room with the authority that immediately quieted the crowd. She didn't have to say a word to make everyone respect her. Judge Lee had a reputation for being tough but fair, and everyone knew it. The bailiff announced her arrival, and the crowd stood in respect. Everyone stood except for Ethan. For a moment, there was complete silence. People stared at Ethan, shocked by his arrogance. He sat casually flipping through some papers like he had better things to do. His lawyer whispered to him, but Ethan brushed it off with a flick of his hand. He wasn't worried. He wasn't scared. He didn't seem to care. Judge Lee's eyes locked onto Ethan for a brief moment, but she said nothing. Instead, she simply sat down and said calmly, "You may be seated." The tension in the room grew even thicker. Everyone could feel it now. Ethan Grayson wasn't just in trouble, he was about to face consequences for his actions. Everyone was on edge as the court session continued. Ethan had been accused of embezzling money from countless families, and the evidence seemed undeniable. But just when everyone thought they had seen it all, something unexpected happened. The doors to the courtroom opened again, but this time, it wasn't another lawyer or witness who entered. It was someone no one expected to see. A woman stepped into the courtroom, and the crowd fell silent. She was dressed in a professional suit, but there was something about her that made her stand out. She wasn't like the others. This woman was calm, confident, and carried an air of authority that could command anyone's attention. Her name was Rachel Carter, a respected investigator who'd been secretly working on this case for months. Rachel didn't just believe in justice, she lived for it. And today, she was about to prove that Ethan wasn't the man he made himself out to be. Ethan didn't even notice her at first. He was too busy smirking at the judge, thinking he was about to walk away from the whole thing. But Rachel wasn't about to let him get away with it. As she approached the stand, she handed the judge a stack of papers evidence that would change everything. The room grew even quieter. Everyone leaned in, sensing that the twist they had all been waiting for was finally about to happen. Rachel didn't need to say much. Her calm demeanor said it all. This wasn't just a case of stolen money. It was about to become something much more serious. Ethan's smirk slowly faded as Rachel's evidence hit the table. The room waited for the truth to be revealed, and no one knew how it was going to end. Malcolm Carter stood frozen, feeling the weight of the world on his shoulders. He was just a regular guy who loved his family and worked hard every day. But today, everything had changed. He had been wrongly accused of stealing expensive jewelry from a store, and it seemed like no one believed his side of the story. The police were questioning him harshly, and the crowd outside the store murmured, waiting for a scandal to unfold. It was clear Malcolm was in serious trouble. His heart raced as he thought about how his whole life was slipping away. He'd never done anything wrong, but no one seemed to care. Everyone just assumed he was guilty. But then, just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, something incredible happened. The front doors of the store burst open, and in walked the person who would change everything: Malcolm's mom, Regina Carter. She wasn't just any mom, she was a high-ranking FBI agent who knew how to get to the truth. Her eyes scanned the room, and the tension instantly shifted. Regina didn't need to say a word. The moment she stepped into the store, the room seemed to stand still. The police officers looked at her with respect, knowing she had the power to turn this situation around. She wasn't just Malcolm's mom, she was someone who could make people listen. Regina pulled out a folder filled with evidence that could clear Malcolm's name. Her calm confidence made it clear she wasn't just here to protect her son. She was here to bring justice. The store manager who had accused Malcolm looked worried, realizing that he had made a huge mistake. With Regina's help, the truth came to light. Malcolm was innocent, and the real thief was exposed. The entire store, including the police, was left speechless as they realized they had wrongly accused an innocent man. Regina's love for her son wasn't just about protecting him, it was about standing up for what was right. And in that moment, she proved that a mother's love could move mountains. It was a normal day for 14-year-old Jason, or so he thought. He was hanging out in his bedroom, going through some old boxes that had been stored away in the attic for years. His curiosity always led him to explore forgotten treasures in the house. But today, he discovered something that would change his life forever. As he sifted through the dusty piles of family keepsakes, Jason stumbled upon an old, yellowed envelope. It looked ancient, and the handwriting on it wasn't familiar at all. The envelope had no name, no return address, just a single word: important. Jason's heart raced. What could this be? Why was it hidden so carefully? With trembling hands, he opened the envelope and found a stack of letters inside, each one written with care and signed with a mysterious name. The letters seemed to tell a story, one that Jason had never heard before. Each letter revealed a piece of his family's past secrets his parents had never talked about. The more Jason read, the more he realized these weren't just old letters. They were messages from someone who had been deeply connected to his family, someone with a story that had been kept a secret for decades. But as Jason continued reading, things started to get even stranger. The letters weren't just stories, they were clues. Clues that hinted at a dark truth about his family that no one had ever mentioned. Who was this person, and why had they written to his family? And why had they kept it hidden all this time? Jason knew he had to get answers. With every letter he read, more questions filled his mind. Could these letters hold the key to a mystery that had been buried for years? Jason was determined to uncover the truth, no matter how shocking or unbelievable it might be. It was supposed to be a special flight for young Maya and her father. They had always dreamed of traveling in style, and when they finally got the chance to sit in first class, Maya couldn't believe it. But little did she know, a problem was about to unfold that would change everything. Maya, excited and full of energy, stepped onto the plane with her father. She had never been in first class before, and it felt like a dream come true. But when they reached their seats, something unexpected happened. The flight attendant, with a stern look on her face, stopped them. "You can't sit here," the flight attendant said coldly, pointing to the first-class seats. "You'll have to go back to economy." Maya's father, confused and upset, tried to explain that they had purchased the tickets for first class. But the flight attendant refused to listen, insisting they couldn't stay there. Maya was stunned. Why was she being treated this way? They had paid for those seats, and it seemed so unfair. But just as things were about to take a turn for the worse, Maya's father made a decision that no one expected. He stood tall and spoke with a calm confidence that surprised everyone around them. "I suggest you check again," he said. "These seats are ours." The flight attendant looked uncertain, and her demeanor quickly changed. She stepped away to make a phone call, but Maya's father wasn't finished. He had a secret of his own, a secret that would turn the entire situation upside down. It wasn't just any ordinary dad standing up for his daughter. Maya's father wasn't just any man. He was someone whose identity would leave everyone around them speechless. As the truth unfolded, it became clear that no one had any idea who Maya's father really was. The flight attendant's expression changed from confusion to shock, and the rest of the passengers were left in disbelief. When Maria started her shift at the diner, she had no idea that today would change her life forever. It was just another busy afternoon with regular customers coming and going. But one table, in particular, was about to make her question everything. As Maria walked to the table with a friendly smile, she noticed the man sitting there. He was well-dressed, but there was something different about him, something she couldn't quite put her finger on. She took his order, gave a polite nod, and moved on, like she had with hundreds of other customers before him. Little did she know, this man was not like anyone she had served before. He wasn't just some wealthy businessman. He was someone famous, someone with power. But Maria had no idea. She was just doing her job, unaware that her simple mistake was about to change her fate. Maria accidentally spilled a drink on the man's suit, an honest mistake, but one that could cost her. Her face turned red with embarrassment as she apologized and tried to clean it up. But the man, calm and composed, simply smiled. "Don't worry about it," he said. "I know you didn't mean it." Maria breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that would be the end of it. But when the shift ended, she was called into the manager's office. That's when everything took a shocking turn. The man she had spilled the drink on wasn't just a customer. He was the diner's new owner. When the manager revealed who he was, Maria's heart skipped a beat. She couldn't believe it. The man who'd been so understanding was the very person who now owned the diner where she worked. And he'd been watching her the whole time. When Jason first discovered his father's old notebook, he never expected to find anything life-changing. It had been tucked away in a dusty box in the attic, just another forgotten piece of the past. Jason had always heard stories about his dad's mysterious past, but he never imagined he'd be the one to uncover the truth. The notebook looked ancient, its pages yellowed with age. As Jason flipped through it, he noticed strange drawings and cryptic notes. Some pages were filled with sketches of places he'd never seen before, while others had names and dates that didn't make any sense to him. What caught his attention the most was a name he didn't recognize, the Watcher. Curious, Jason decided to investigate further. Every page he turned brought up more questions than answers. He started to realize that the notebook wasn't just a record of his dad's life. It was a clue to a bigger secret. The more he read, the more he began to piece together a story that seemed too unbelievable to be true. It was like a hidden history, one his father had never told him about. As Jason dug deeper into the notebook's pages, he discovered shocking details about his father's past things that made him question everything he knew about his family.